see some comments that really just piss you off? Like, do you ever respond to people who have negative comments?
Yeah,
like,
I respond to everyone, just part of my problem.
Latest video about being buried alive for 7 days.
Nah, this guy's insane.
It was sponsored by Verizon.
So much hair. It's like, I don't know if I'm like the right messenger for that. El Dorado Diner that used to exist in Tarrytown, New York.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I know.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Now it's a Honda dealership.
Okay, welcome to another episode of Soup and Salad with myself, Julia.
And I'm Max.
And we're at 101 Wilson and Bushwick.
Today we got Jeremy Jacobowitz coming in. We're going to talk some...
And let me tell you why.
Well, let me tell you why.
So yeah, we talked to Jeremy Jacobowitz, who's known on TikTok for saying, let me tell you why,
Right.
at the beginning of his TikToks, who a lot of people probably recognize. He, as far as like food restaurant reviews go, I feel like I watch his and trust his the most.
Yeah.
Because he's very informative.
He's also been doing it for a long time. Like
yeah.
very consistently, years.
He's like a veteran.
Used to go by Brunch Boys on social early, so a lot of people might know him from that.
Right. When he was like talking about in 2015 making Instagram his job.
Yeah, insane. Nobody
like,
knew you could make Instagram your job back then.
Yeah. And like having 10,000 followers, like at that time was like huge. Like now I feel like it's easier to like build or whatever, but like
no one back then had 10,000
no,
followers.
because not even that many people were on Instagram.
Yeah. But this podcast is good if there's people out here listening to this that are like influencers in any way. Like we got deep into like some of the business behind, how to work with brands, how to deal with managers, like things like that.
Yeah.
So,
or just if you like are truly looking for some like interesting, really good new restaurants in New York or elsewhere. Yeah. He had a lot of great recommendations. But yeah, it was interesting to like take a peek behind the curtain of like what goes into filming food content. Like I had so many questions about like, what do you do with all the food? Like are you filming when the restaurant's opened? Are they reaching out to you? Yeah, exactly. Because there's so many, I mean, I like watching a lot of food content, but there's a lot of people who do it, but I feel like he's like one of the most experienced.
He's really made a career out of it too. He's been like doing this full time for 6 years.
Right.
Like full career is just making content. Yeah. He's killing it.
And worked with Bobby Filet years ago.
Yeah. Filet. Shit. Anyway.
Okay.
You're good.
So
she's holding it now.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship, we all know about it.
Yeah.
But because of this relationship, and this might be where the controversy comes in, because of this relationship, Travis Kelce's whole family has now become like a celebrity family of their own. Even though his brother is in football as well, in football. Even though his brother plays football as well. But the topic of this conversation is that his mom has now become a celebrity of her own, and she now has brand deals with Papa John's, Subway.
Hell yeah.
She has her
Kind
own brand
bars.
deals?
She has her own brand deals.
God.
Do you guys think that this is like a really interesting way to like move the needle in like celebrity food brand deals, or is it like a gimmick?
I think it's legit. I think we're gonna see Travis Kelce's mom eating the foot-long cookie from Subway on TikTok. She's always standing next to Taylor Swift at the games. Like, she's leaning into it.
I know. I mean, listen, if I was in that position, I would do the same damn thing.
So would I.
But I feel like, honestly, that because it's Taylor Swift, who literally has, like, planetary magnitude power, it works. But if it was, like, I don't know, some other random celebrity, then it would be kind of like a gimmick.
Right. She's so famous that her boyfriend's moms are getting famous. I don't know. I mean, of course it's a gimmick, but it's like, who cares, I mean,
get that bag.
Yeah, get that bag. Yeah. It's all about attention
Does it work on you guys? Like, are you guys like, no. Subway?
Yeah, of course. If I saw Travis Kelce's mom slamming down a giant foot long, I'd be like, give me that meatball sub.
No, I mean, but also, I mean, this is like a classic thing, but like big like macro deals like that, I feel like it's more about publicity than really like, I don't know, moving the needle, if that makes sense. Like I'll to buy something on recommendation, it has to come from like a small creator for me.
Yeah. I mean, we all know Subways. We all know these huge brands already. I don't think it's,
it's more just like almost a commercial than like a true like influencer move or something.
Yeah. That brings us it's in the same realm, but like this year has been the year of like celebrity meal deals, and this like headline from The Cut is like the 2023, the year celeb meal deals got weird. And it was like, you can't just like count on a recommendation from a celebrity anymore. Like a celebrity can't just like make a post being like, head to Dunkin' Donuts. Like they had Ben Affleck and
Ice Spice.
like and Ice Spice like in the window working at Dunkin' Donuts. They had Renee Rapp like completely naked on top of a sweet green salad. Like you can't just take a recommendation anymore. So like this is like the like the year celebrity meal deals got weird.
There was like the Travis Scott McDonald's thing, right? Like a while ago.
Travis Scott did it. I think
Cardi B did one.
Megan Thee Stallion has one somewhere.
Cardi B and Offset did a deal for McDonald's where they had like a date night.
Right.
I mean, they're just getting the bag. Like that's like that's an easy.
But I actually do think that I do think it works though, because for that situation, if you're creating like a specialty menu item, that's when it works. Like if you're just like slapping your name on, like celebrity slapping their name on something, like for example, perfect example, the Hailey Bieber smoothie.
I never heard of that.
What? At Erewhon?
Oh, Erewhon. Dude, it's in New York.
I was just in LA last week.
That makes perfect sense, though.
Yeah.
That's like a good collaboration.
I made my boyfriend bring me to Erewhon so I could get the Hailey Bieber smoothie.
Why?
And it was
It's called the Hailey
good.
Bieber strawberry glazed skin smoothie.
Yeah.
Skin smoothie.
It's supposed to be good for your skin.
Is it made with skin?
It's made with like collagen.
But well, honestly, it blew up on TikTok because of her name was on it, I think, and then people started saying it was really good. So I tried it and it was pretty bomb. But that like worked perfectly.
How much was that bad boy?
$18.
Wow.
And every person in front of me was ordering that. Still, it's been around for like over a year. Like it's still like it's crazy.
I don't know. I remember the Travis Scott burger. I feel like people were lining up to get that too.
Yeah.
That was like one.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, celebrities do this now. This is like, I don't know. It's like a Jake Paul with like Prime or something.
Yeah.
Like they use their influences. The whole point, you know.
It works, I think.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd buy $18 smoothie because Hailey Bieber told me to do it, but
well, I bought it because
I don't know if you're her audience.
Yeah, definitely not.
And people said it was. I think the thing is like it got the attention because her name was on it, but it was a good product. Like if that works, then like people will continue to buy.
I think at this point, if they took Hailey Bieber's name off the smoothie, people would still go and buy
I
the
agree.
smoothie because it becomes such like a cult favorite. Erewhon is like a cult store.
Exactly.
I want like a Drake Domino's pizza, dude.
I think you're getting one. Drake just did a deal with somebody.
Did he?
A Young Thug.
a
Wendy's meal or something. Yeah.
Sometimes it's surprising to see him do it because you're like, how much money? I mean, Drake's got his own 747 jet.
Right.
Like, he's gonna do a deal with like what, McDonald's or something? I mean,
he's doing a deal with Dave's Hot Chicken.
What is even that?
What is even that?
Yeah. I think that is actually an LA place. I feel like I've seen it on TikTok again. But no, I agree. Every time, this is like when I see one of the Kardashians or like Kim Kardashian do like a brand deal, I'm like, how is it worth it for that brand to be paying her?
Right.
Like it's got to be an unbelievable amount
the
of.
rate must be insane.
Right.
Well, it's like Mr. Beast was talking about how brands can't even afford really to pay him what he's worth because he gets like one of his videos gets twice the amount of traffic as the Super Bowl does.
Mr. Beast's latest video about being buried alive for 7 days.
I know. This guy's insane.
It was sponsored by Verizon.
See Verizon, like those are the people like Verizon, Disney, like these are the people that can afford him.
Yeah.
God,
I don't know. I watched the whole thing.
I think it's just got to make more sense. Like if Drake did like.
Yeah.
I also, I think I lied to you guys earlier. Travis Kelce, well, actually Lauren lied to you, but Travis Kelce's mom doesn't have a deal with Subway. She has a deal with Papa John's, Raising Cane's, and Kind Bars.
Damn.
I mean, Raising Cane's is good already.
I do love some Cane's. Yeah.
Have you guys tried the Raising Cane's that they put one in Times Square?
No, but
I feel like Raising Cane's is just chicken tenders and Texas toast and fries, like and the cane sauce.
One of the first Raising Cane's was at Ohio State University, which like we
drunk food we'd go to
like,
late night.
In high school, that was where like people would go to like party when they were underage. Yeah. So we'd go there, get drunk, and eat Cane's when I was like 16. Throwback. But
what's she doing with them though? She just in a commercial or something, or she got her own Cane's meal?
She
was behind the counter.
Really?
She was behind the counter.
Damn.
And now
I think her Papa John's deal.
It's like the Mama Kelsey bundle.
Whoa, there you go.
Mama Kelsey bundle.
It's the Mama Kelsey bundle, and then she was like at Raising Cane's, like giving out.
We gotta be a marketing exec. Like,
Papa
I want
John.
to come up with these ideas.
I know.
This is the best they got. Oh, we gotta get famous. How do we get more views on this podcast?
I know.
Mom, tell all your friends. That's our marketing strategy.
We'll get you a brand deal.
We got moms at like Subway one day just slinging those cookies.
Janice is totally cooking.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Like
Like
and
and
subscribe.
So dumb. Like and subscribe. All right, we're here with Jeremy Jacobowitz. Did I say that right?
Jacobowitz.
Jacobowitz?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Jacobowitz.
right out the gate.
Everyone screws it up, so it's like whatever.
Really?
I just roll
Jacobowitz.
with it. You were close enough.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like to ask just to make sure. AKA Brunch Boys from back in the day.
Yes.
Which you've switched over, I guess,
Yeah.
at some point.
Welcome to the Soup and Salad Pod.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
I feel bad. I just chose water, but
Oh my God.
It's also
I know.
11 in the morning.
I know. Our brilliant idea to film a podcast at a bar, realizing we have to do it before the bar opens.
I know. So how's it going, man? Like,
Good.
you've been doing food stuff forever, it seems like. I mean, I've been
Yes.
following you for a long time. But let's go back to sort of the beginning of when you got into it, because you have a background in TV.
Yes.
You've got a background doing these food reviews and recipes. And what was kind of the beginning for
What
you?
was like the very beginning? Like when you
Yeah.
were like literally growing up, were you like, okay, I know that I want to be like involved in something to do with food, or did it come later?
No, not at all. I always loved food.
Yeah.
I loved eating.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the first solid food I ever ate was like mushu pork, Chinese food. Like,
Oh my God,
I was
yum.
like that Brooklyn kid that was
Yeah.
like eating fucking tacos.
Oh,
So you grew
so you
up
grew up
here.
in Brooklyn.
So I have to say this because I'm gonna get yelled at by everyone. I was born in Park Slope.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 6, I moved to Westchester.
Got it.
Okay.
So I always say I was born in Brooklyn, but grew up in Westchester because people are very sensitive about
Oh,
that.
Well, that's better than him.
I was born in Manhattan, and then my parents moved to Ohio when I was like a month old, 2 months
Yes,
old. So I can't really.
it goes from New York City, Westchester. It's
Yeah.
like 20 minutes away. I came back for NYU,
Yeah.
so I've been in New York City a very long time, and
Yeah.
people still get real mad at me when I say I'm from New York City. I'm like,
Yeah, if you're not like
whatever.
born and
Right.
raised and spent every day of your life here, people
Yeah.
are pissed. Yeah.
so
But
true.
anyway, so I always loved food, like growing up, like eating food, restaurants, watching Food Network. The Japanese Iron Chef was like the greatest thing of all time.
Loved it.
But I never thought about being in food because I never wanted to be a chef, and I didn't really understand that there was any other job to do in food other than be a chef. I
Right.
guess. So I didn't really think about it. I studied sports management at
Oh,
NYU.
really?
Yeah, I love sports, but I was terrible at sports. So I was like, well, how do I be involved without actually playing?
Right.
So sports management made sense, and when I was at NYU, I sort of fell into TV, and I was like, oh, sports TV, this is great.
Yeah.
So I worked in sports TV for a number of years for SNY, which is the Mets Network, WCBS, WWE. This is all like in college and directly post-college.
Oh my God.
And this is years ago. And there just weren't that many places to work in sports
Right.
TV then. There weren't all these online outlets. So it's basically like ESPN.
Yeah.
I
Right.
didn't really want to work there. They were only in the middle of Connecticut at the time. It's Disney and weird.
Oh, so that was still, so you had to move back to Connecticut after?
Yeah, I mean, I was back in Westchester right after college anyway, and then I was
Got
working at
it.
WWE in Stanford, so whatever. But Bristol's like in the middle of Connecticut.
Got
Like,
it.
you can't live in New York City and work. That you could, but it's super annoying.
Right.
So I was like, okay, there has to be something else in TV I could do.
Yeah.
And just went back to, really restarted, went back to being a PA. First gig I ever did was Man vs. Food.
Really?
It was my favorite
Epic show,
And
yeah.
I did one episode, unpaid, drove myself to Rochester, did the whole thing.
No way.
And that didn't like open up the door to all these opportunities, but at least got it on the resume of a food show.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was the episode?
So it was when they were doing Man vs. Food Nation. So it was
Okay.
like other people doing challenges.
Got it.
So it was like it's their NASCAR episode in Rochester. So like they ate like a
There must have
giant
been a
sub.
crowd.
Yeah. They ate like a garbage plate. It's like a very Rochester
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
What's a
first time-
garbage plate?
I've heard of this.
It's just like a plate of everything,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
fries and hot dogs and
And like
whatever shit you wanna
gravy
put on. Yeah,
and
yeah,
like cheese
exactly.
curds or something.
Yeah, exactly. So then that led to just like little random PA gigs. But then I got on Worst Cooks in America, and this is season 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the 2 hosts that year were Amber Elle and Bobby Flay. So met
So
Bobby
fun.
Flay, and then he hired me to be his PA basically on all of his shows. And
Oh,
he has a
really?
production company.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my like real intro into the food TV world.
Oh my
was-
God.
was just with him, and he's the fucking god.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah.
Food TV, food media, whatever.
Was he like, let's dig into that for a second. Was he like intimidating or was it like totally?
Oh, he's very intimidating, but like it's really funny. Like his Food Network persona is like, of course it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he's not like this hardcore serious chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean he is, but like
Right.
he isn't every second.
He
Of
seems
course.
nice,
Like
like,
he's,
honestly.
Yeah.
he's the one of the nicest human beings of all time.
Yeah.
Always looking out for others.
Oh my
Nobody does
God.
more for other people than him. No one works harder than he does.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that could come off, especially in a competition show, of like intense. Like he's intense. If he's
Right.
cooking, he's intense.
But he
like,
doesn't seem like a dick. Like he seems like a nice guy, honestly.
No, not
Just
at all.
like
He's very New York.
Yeah.
This dude dropped out of high school and is now a
Really?
millionaire running all these businesses.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a
did not
work
know
ethic
that.
and like not put up a shit to do that.
right.
Yeah, he's
And
killing it.
that's been his whole thing, like what's led to him all success. And being with him, like, yes, let me into this food world and also see what you could do on your own, really.
That's so interesting.
And did that for a number of years with him. Then started producing food shows, food travel shows, food competition, cooking shows, all that stuff. I never really thought about doing like influencer stuff just because that didn't
Right.
exist.
Yeah.
And I'm not smart enough to like realize that's a whole world.
What year is this? We're talking.
This is, I was 24, so 12 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, so this is
over
pre-
a decade ago.
You know,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, stories, TikToks,
There was
all
no,
of it.
there was
yeah.
no video on Instagram. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always made content online.
Yeah.
Even when I
Right.
was in college, I've had my YouTube channel forever, just because I like making videos.
Right.
It's just an outlet for me to be creative, and that was always my approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I happened to have a food account on Instagram when those things became a thing.
Right.
Just because I was making random videos when I could, but I was in restaurants all over the country.
Right.
And I didn't have any place to post my photos because I was like, I'm not going to flood my personal feed with this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was on the road for these food travel shows. And then I had this account right when it became a thing, and then just blew up.
So,
So-
you were early in
Right.
it.
I was very early. There were no, this is pre-algorithm. There's no
Yeah.
video on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was like, I mean, traveling around, like that's such a unique experience
Yeah.
too, like for a food show. So what were like some of the best like or favorite places you went? Even
I think it was more like, I mean, I went to a lot of places I don't want to go back to.
like
Were you
where?
like Middle America a lot?
Yeah, like I worked on a show about state fairs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is super cool.
Interesting
I got
culture.
I get sent to every state fair. It's
Yeah.
wild.
That
It's
is wild.
stuff. But like, you also have to remember like where you are if you're going to state fairs. Like
Yeah.
the Kansas State Fair, I flew into Wichita, and then the fair is an hour west of Wichita. So
Oh,
we are
yeah.
talking middle of nowhere, nothing.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And it is. I'm glad I got to do all that stuff. I think like I appreciate that I got to go there. I just don't know if I want to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
how
makes
many of them are
sense.
that different? I feel like it's like funnel
The
cakes.
state fairs, oh no.
Yeah?
It is a huge industry of real food stuff.
Really?
Oh, wow.
It's really fascinating. Yeah, so these dudes are millionaires.
Yeah.
If
Who
you work-
operate the
if you-
state fairs?
Yeah, if you work, no, who operate just the stands at the
Oh,
state fairs.
really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they only
Oh, my
work 1
gosh.
month. If they're crushing it, they work 1 month a year. What they do too is so they don't have to pay employees. They just have 1,000 children. So they work with them. And then
my
eventually,
God.
eventually
It's
they
really
have their
deep.
own stand. But
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, a lot of it's deep fried everything. But
Yeah.
they're all trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
this is their livelihood.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of them will go from smaller fair to smaller fair. But a lot of them, like, if you work that Texas State Fair, you spend like 10 months out of the year, like in development and research, and then the 2 months selling, and you're making millions.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
it's like the Minnesota State Fair. I imagine you went there. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
That's a big one, right?
Never been around more people in my time. Maybe Tokyo, but Minnesota State Fair's up there. Like, wow, there's
Really?
so many people.
It's
a
that crazy?
6-lane highway of just people walking and eating.
No.
I didn't know that's what it is. That's like,
Yeah.
It's huge.
oh my
Yeah.
God. And they must, it must be so expensive to secure a place
Oh,
there.
I don't think
I
you
can't
can just
even,
roll up. I
No.
think it's
It's
a
like
whole
legacy.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Passed down generation
Yeah.
to generation.
The kids.
oh my God, that's fascinating. Whoa, what a wild job.
That's what I mean, like it is fun, but then you also remember like the side of it, like being a food TV producer and being on the road for food is like kind of the dream.
Yeah.
Basically, 'cause
Sure.
You watch Bourdain, and you're like, that's what I want to make.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you have to think about like what that actually takes to make it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I always say, like, to give an example of how not glamorous it was. One, you're in the middle of nowhere, and I'd be like, my dinners where you'd be at this hotel. This is before like Uber Eats and stuff.
Right.
There's no food delivery.
Yeah.
It's basically like if you want to order in Domino's, that's the only food. I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'd be at the hotel. The only food they would have would be like the package of like tuna and crackers.
Yeah.
So I'd be sitting at this piece of shit hotel
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, sitting on my bed, eating crackers and tuna
Yeah.
from the vending machine at the hotel.
Oh.
This is not what people think it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine this lavish food lifestyle.
The irony. Yeah. I know, it's funny. I always say, working at Food 52, we obviously like have this huge, gorgeous office, and like you'd think working at a food media company, you would just be like eating all day, and we do when the kitchen is making something. Like I'll have like a cupcake for breakfast, but other than that, we don't supply like any food, like no snacks, no
Right, it's
granola
not like
bars.
you guys
It's
are
like
Google.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And even that, like, you have to be careful. Like, one of the big things is like, if you work in this industry, you can't eat all the food.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna one, feel sick. You're gonna be sick. I've been in and out of the food industry for 15 years.
Yeah.
Really, no, you can't do it. That's a number one lesson. Day one, don't eat all the food.
So after the state fairs, what comes next? You're kind of sick of that routine, I guess, for a little bit.
Right. Well, so what happened was
that was just a job.
I ended up being on the road for all these food travel shows.
Yeah.
And I had never really taken a day off, and my Instagram was like, I only had like maybe 10,000 followers at the time.
Still
that was
good
huge.
then.
So that was
huge.
I mean, that's good enough for some people.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was still in like 20.
I've been doing this full time for 8 years. So just 8 years ago, maybe.
8 years ago.
Social media.
8 or 9 years ago. I forget.
Yeah.
So it was like 2015.
I mean,
I'm not good at math, but yeah.
But that's like a lot. I mean, that
was
I'm just
before
giving
it was, like,
context that that's a
normal.
lot of followers for like that year.
At the time, I was like, there were definitely people way more, but there were only like 10 of us.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe I was number 10, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I started getting all these little opportunities, and I couldn't do it because I worked in TV. And then I was just like burnt out from being on the road, and it's around this time. It was around the end of the year, and I was like, you know what? I need a little break. I'll take a month off, and I'll just like play with my Instagram, have something to do, and whatever. And I did that, and the account just exploded because the first time in years it actually focused on it.
Yeah.
This is right when they were bubbling.
Right.
What were you doing? Put like just a lot more photos.
Just like going and stuff, getting content.
Yeah.
My approach always of it was like, oh, if I make a video, it's just push to YouTube, or like if I ever make a photo, whatever. Like there was no thought put into it.
Right.
And now that I was thinking about it, I was like coming up with strategies and what to post and where to go and having all these things open to me. And that was right when people started making money. And I had a couple of friends that started making money, and they're like, you're really close.
Yeah.
They're like, if you just give this a little bit more time, like you'll probably make money.
Right.
So I basically looked at how much money I had saved, saw how much I made on unemployment, and I was like, okay, I could do this for a few months and I could still pay my rent if I cut out every expense my entire life, basically.
Yeah.
So I did that and I started making money. Because I didn't make any money in TV, I immediately started making more money.
Really?
Wow. That's so early too, really. Like this is like pre everyone wants to be an influencer type era.
Yeah,
you know what
again,
I mean?
like that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I still had no thought it'd be full time. I always thought like, well, this would be a nice source of income when I'm doing other gigs. But I just got so busy, and I'm like, well, it's kind of the same job.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm in kitchens, I'm in restaurants, I'm doing food stuff.
And it grows because you're the one in it. Like on
Yeah,
camera.
exactly. It's me doing everything, which I didn't really know. Like I was a producer, I didn't know how to do anything.
Right.
Like I would, as a producer, you tell other people like, yeah, film this, great,
Yeah.
good job, guys.
Yeah.
But like I had to teach myself
Like tactical skills.
Yeah, tell myself how to edit and film and
Sure.
run audio and light, and like still teaching myself to this day how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Really just from watching YouTube videos and
Right.
doing it.
Yeah.
That's it. But then there's no looking back. I'm like, okay, making more money. I have total creative freedom.
Yeah.
I probably work more now, but it's my own choice, which feels better. It's
Right.
like, okay, if I wake up
Own
in the
your
morning, I'm
boss.
a little tired.
Yeah. Just lay in bed a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. It means it means I have to make that up, but I'd rather, then I'll do that next day. It's fine. It doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
So, but what do you mean when you say like, so you quit your TV job and then started doing this and started making money? Like in which form? Like through like brands?
It's all sponsors. The
Sponsors,
first brands I ever worked with was Bumble.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah.
It was
So
when
this-
they launched Bumble BFF.
Yeah.
And they were like, look, if you're looking for someone to brunch with,
Yeah.
Bumble BFF. That was the first lesson I learned. Was at the time it's just food photos, because that's all like food media was.
Right.
On Instagram. And when the first ad came in, it was Bumble. I was like, okay, lesson number one. I can't just restaurants will pay me. So I'm relying on brands. So how
Right.
many food brands could pay me? I guess there's a lot out there, but a lot of it's cooking, and I'm not specifically cooking. I
Yeah.
kind of do it here and there.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I'm able to open up my account to sell anything, then I'll make money. So that's when I started putting myself in the accounts.
Right.
Because I was like, if it's me, I can sell anything.
Anything.
And
Right.
it's about food. It's about me, but it's about
Yeah.
food. It's whatever. But if it's always my face, then I can sell anything.
Right.
Right.
That was
You're
the biggest thing.
you're the brand.
Right.
basically. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So were you just like reaching out to, like when you say you were making content, like
Mm.
would you just go and do it, or were you like reaching out to restaurants and being like, hey?
I was reaching out to restaurants, because at the time restaurants were kind of getting it. I was getting
Yeah.
some invites, but at the time it was all brunch boys. So I would email these restaurants, and I was still far behind a lot of other accounts, but I would email them and be like, hey, I'm the #1 brunch account in the world.
Right.
Which
Good
I probably was, but
Yeah.
no one was going to do research to find out if I wasn't.
Right.
Sure.
So because I was able to niche to brunch, it
Yeah.
let me like do all that stuff
Right.
a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Perfect
And
for
then
New York, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
Were
I
you,
popped
like-
off, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I could just kind of.
Were you like sick of going to brunch? By then?
Right.
I still love brunch food. The brunch culture, I
Yeah.
think, got a little nuts. And I think brunch, too, it's like, I do love that food. I do love that way of eating. But then people would always ask me like, "Oh my God, where's a bottomless brunch?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't do that. Like, I want to eat good food, and like that became. Brunch just died down a little bit.
Yeah, it was huge though.
Back then. But
it
now
was
a lot of
huge.
it-
Yeah,
exactly. So now like maybe I just got older too. I don't know,
true.
Probably more than me. But yeah, and I eat everything. I wanted to make videos about everything, and it was all about everything anyway for a long time before I changed the name.
Yeah.
But eventually, I got sick of like answering the question of like, well, who are the other boys? I'm like,
Right.
there's no other boys anyway. And like, people, and I was like, you know what? I want to give people like, if they're gonna follow me, I want to like fulfill what they think the count's gonna be.
Yeah.
Because no one knows who you are when they follow you.
Right.
Basically. So I'm like, okay, if I saw an account called Brunch Boys and I click follow, I would expect brunch and boys.
Right.
And I don't deliver any of those things.
Yeah.
I deliver myself.
Yeah.
So it made sense to change the name.
When did you do the transition?
It's like 2 or 3 years ago now.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I just like felt it. I was like, no, if they're gonna click follow on Jeremy Jacobowitz, that is what they're gonna get.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me just give that to them up front.
Yeah.
Right. Were you like, since you got into it early, which is like pretty unique, just seeing as how a lot of people, it's obviously like something a lot of people pursue now, just like with how much the platforms have grown. Like when you started seeing like competition pop up or like more people doing a similar thing, like did it ever worry you, or were you like, no, I'm established enough, like this is fine?
I mean, you always have to worry about competition. I think the one thing that annoys me more than anything is that everyone in the world, they all had jobs. They had, maybe they weren't feeling totally fulfilled, but they were doing their job that they trained to do that they're very good at. Every single person had a job and looked at my job and said, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay. I mean, one, like I always say, this has always been my job. I've always created content. I've always made media. I've worked in media forever. It just has transitioned from TV to new media, all that stuff. I was like, oh, goddamn, everyone wants to have my job. It's a little annoying.
Yeah.
But generally, like I always say, like where I'm very competitive, I would like to beat everybody. No one else has to lose for me
Of
to
course.
win.
Yeah. Right.
Which I like. I'm like, if someone got 1 million likes, as long as I got 1,000,001 likes, perfect.
Still good.
I don't need them to get 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think it's been like a rising tide situation too. Yeah. Especially with TikTok. What has happened is like a lot of younger people didn't necessarily understand the business came in and they charge a lot more.
Right.
And I think some people outcharge themselves, and I don't do that. So I was able to raise my rates and still come in lower than other people.
Yeah.
Right.
And like take advantage of the industry growing.
Given a fair deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Man,
Man.
that's so interesting. So that time, if we're still back in like 2015 or 2016, like how long was that sustainable? Like just like posting on Instagram and reaching out to restaurants and like making content that way? Or were you also like doing site content? I know you were doing YouTube too.
Yeah, I mean, that's still basically all I do.
I know,
You know what I mean?
right.
But it's always been just like growing on all platforms and getting that. But the majority of the money, like I do outside projects here and there, just if they're fun, if there's something to do, like I direct. I'm now producing some films that that's not a
cool.
money-making venture, but you know, whatever. It's a creative outlet. But no, the sponsorship has been in. Now, like a little bit of income now is like AdSense on YouTube, bonus on Instagram, bonus on Snap, bonus on Facebook. Like put the content anywhere. They're all basically paying. It's not enough to sustain yourself really, especially. Yeah, the YouTube, if you grow your YouTube big enough, you could sustain yourself. All the other platforms are more just like bonus money, but it's all sponsor content.
Have you gone back to start putting stuff up on YouTube Shorts?
Yes, YouTube Shorts has been, even though I've been on YouTube the longest, it's still my smallest audience, which is really annoying because I love YouTube.
It's the hardest to grow.
I sit and watch YouTube all day.
Yeah.
I love YouTube. Shorts has been able to give me a little bit of a boost. I don't want to pop off on I'd love to pop off anyways, but the creators that have popped off on Shorts aren't able to translate those people to regular video on YouTube.
Right.
And that's where you make your money.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a downside to just popping off in Shorts there. So I've been growing steadily using both, which has been nice. And that's sort of more the goal because I like making long form content. Like my TikTok videos are pretty long.
Yeah, true.
They're like 3.5, 4 minutes probably.
Yeah.
And for TikTok. That's,
Yeah.
I think they're pushing that a little bit too now, right?
They
want longer
and
form
I was one of
content.
the early ones, so they let me into their longer form video ad stuff early because they saw I was doing it successfully, and now that's the only one that's there. So thank God I got into that program.
Yeah. How do you feel about the live stuff? Would you ever?
I would love to be able to be a live person. I was talking about this the other day. I was like, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't know how these people do it.
I don't either.
During like lockdown COVID, I went live every single day for months.
Oh, you did?
I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Oh Were you just in your apartment talking to the camera?
This is what I did. I was like, if you want to eat lunch with me, have lunch
Oh,
with me.
nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's like a nice thing. But like, I would get through 45 minutes, my voice would be gone, and I'd get off like, oh my God, I need a fucking nap. Like, the people that like stream for hours, like,
insane.
I don't know how they do it.
We were just talking about World of T-shirts. Is that his name? Do you know who that is? He's like the guy in New York who's constantly live streaming. He wears like a captain's hat and has like glasses on.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Anyway, but like some people literally do it like almost 24 hours a day, and it's
I
like
would
how.
love to be and like I always find I'm also a morning person, which is bad. Like if I were to stream, it would be at 5 in the morning. So that is when I'm full of energy. No one's gonna watch me at 5 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's always at like 5 p.m. Like I guess I could go live, and I'm like I'm so tired throughout the day. I'm like the last thing I want to do is like set up the camera and go through the stuff, and have to talk. So like I'll do them here and there. It is a goal. It's a nice goal.
Yeah. How about Snapchat revenue? I feel like I've been hearing a lot about that.
My
doing
Snap
pretty well.
Snap followers isn't great. It's growing steadily, but they pay nicely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what did Bryce Hall said that like he gets all these influencers who are huge on YouTube, like David Dobrik and shit, went to Snapchat and they say they make like the most amount of money. It's insane.
For the number of views that I get, it is insane how much money I make on Snapchat.
Really?
I'm gonna get on Snapchat.
They must be so desperate to like keep the platform alive that they're like, is it?
Well, the thing is like, no one thinks it's alive because the people that are on there are like too young to like have like a say and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But like they still have a ton of users and they're locked in. Like if you're a teenager, you're on Snap. So their whole idea is like you're here chatting with your friends, just tap over and you have all this content. So
Right.
people legitimately get views.
Yeah.
It's not as huge as other platforms. It's not like as viral as other places, I guess. But like there's a generation that's only on Snap.
Yeah.
There are
Right.
people there. Like I said about Facebook too, on the opposite end. Like I make a lot of money on Facebook.
Really?
Like people's like Facebook's not sexy. It's like, okay, well they have billions of people on it every
Right,
single day.
right.
It might be old.
Yeah.
What do
Take
I
the
care?
money.
Yeah. The ad sales are the same.
Yeah.
Do you make different sort of like content for each? I mean, I know it varies a little bit, but like, do you repurpose things a lot, or do you
It's
feel like you
all
gotta change
essentially the same video. I just cut it differently. So like YouTube gets the longest and that's horizontal.
Yeah.
And then the next video I do is TikTok and that's, I changed all the vertical, cut down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's 1 minute 30 for Reels and a 1 minute versions for Facebook, Snap, Lemonade, Pinterest, like anywhere that wants me to have content, I'll just post.
Wait,
The videos are done.
Lemonade?
Yeah. What's
That's like when Trump wanted to get rid of TikTok. TikTok was like, just in case.
Oh, really? I
they
didn't even
started
know
a
that.
Totally other app. It's
didn't
like a
know
mix
that.
of like Pinterest and Instagram, honestly. It's a lot of
Weird.
like galleries and stuff and
Yeah.
whatever.
Lemonade.
It's there. Like I don't grow that much. I don't get that many views,
Yeah.
but like just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, their whole thing is like
Yeah.
if we get shut down, we're just gonna pivot to this other app.
Right.
That's
Every.
smart on their part.
Yeah.
Backup app. I feel like you're really good at just having a lot of content. Like, is that a
Yeah.
big part of the strategy? How often are you posting on like every
Yeah,
platform?
I probably do 4 to 5 new videos a week.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
a
hard
lot.
for
I
people to
mean,
do
I'm very
that.
good though at like repurposing stuff,
Yeah.
remaking videos.
Right.
A lot of it's when I travel. So like in New York, I don't do that many shoots.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll film 3 videos a week. Maybe one's in the kitchen. Maybe one's just me at dinner. Maybe one's just running out for lunch and just filming myself,
Yeah.
whatever. But when I travel, I get a lot of content. So like I was in Asia in the spring.
Yeah.
In like 2.5 weeks in Korea and Japan, I shot like 70 videos.
Right, you're eating out every single day, obviously.
Yeah, you're
Right.
out every day. You're running around like I'm
Yeah.
there to work, so I'm
Right.
not going to be lazy about it. In New York, I could be like, I don't really want to eat all this fucking food every single day. All right, or whatever. But like, I'll get it all when I travel, and then like I had 2 months of content all summer.
Right.
I did not film all summer.
Okay,
Wow.
And I
Oh.
had 3 to 4,
Front-load
and I
it.
had all
Yeah.
these videos. Just I mean, the editing takes forever anyway. So
Yeah.
that is
Do you
the work.
edit and shoot everything?
I do
always?
everything myself.
So when you're like going to somewhere like Japan, or do you say you're in Japan?
Yeah, I was in Korea and Japan.
Okay. So, because I noticed like you do go to like the places that people are talking about, which is like why it's, you know, your content's great. Like, but when you're going somewhere like that, like how much research are you doing and how are you doing that? Like, are you asking people who live there, like who have just
Yeah,
been?
so
Like,
basically what I do is on Instagram, I have save folders for every city, basically. So I'm always doing research. As soon as I
Right.
see something, just in case I end up there.
Right.
Save it. Yeah.
So I usually start there just in case. And then once I know I'm actually going to a city, yeah, honestly, just ask my audience, see what they say.
Yeah.
I start watching other videos, doing research, reading about it, taking in information from
Right.
everywhere, basically.
Yeah. I mean, for other people who want to do this, like, I imagine, you have this set up as a business, right? Like, are you expensing all these things?
Yeah, it's all an expense. And the travel
Yeah.
ends up being probably half sponsored, half not sponsored. Like,
Yeah.
the trip to Asia was a sponsored trip. I ended up still spending a lot of money.
Right.
So there, I want to make content, but
Yeah.
like, at least I had a brand involved or reduce a lot of the costs.
right.
So how do you get a brand like that involved? Like, are you pitching Are you pitching constantly, or are people
No.
reaching out to you?
So what I always say is like, I don't pitch ideas because I find it like they don't have a budget for your idea.
Right.
They're gonna have a budget for their idea.
Right.
Got it.
So my job to me is just to network and meet everyone, and then at some point maybe that'll turn into something. Like the one to Korea was with Chase as like an Air Canada Aeroplan card.
Oh, nice.
And I would say like it was like years of work, and it wasn't like me like, oh, one day I'm gonna get them to send me to Asia. You know, I just met someone and she was really friendly, and we've stayed in contact, and it wasn't this like weird barter thing or like trying to take advantage of each other. We just enjoy each other.
Yeah.
And she happens to work for fucking Chase or whatever.
Right.
That is the business of it.
Yeah.
Networking.
So what has been your favorite like city that you've gone to make content?
Yeah, Tokyo.
Yeah,
Tokyo's
I'm
insane.
so jealous.
Yeah, it's the like most insane alternate reality, different universe place I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And like it's overwhelming for me being in New
Right.
York or being there.
Where's some of the best things out there? I mean, obviously sushi, ramen.
Everything. Here's the
Everything.
thing. They are perfectionists at everything. So
Yeah.
like my favorite thing there is the egg salad
I
at
was-
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I literally was just
It's
gonna ask if that.
$1.50. It's at the convenience store. I ate one for breakfast every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they don't care if it's $1.50. They're gonna make it perfect.
Right.
That's what, I went there a few years ago too, and I noticed that it's like everywhere you go, they take such pride in really doing it well. And yeah, it's like the 7-Eleven. You know, you can get a great
Some
sandwich.
of the best pizza I've ever had.
Really?
Easily. Yeah.
7-Eleven.
Like I always say, like if you go to Japan, like obviously eat sushi, but if you're eating sushi every single meal, like you're doing it to service.
Right.
You should eat everything, and they like crush everything.
Right.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Oh my god, that's so interesting.
Do you know how many videos you've like? Do you have an idea about how many videos you have out there? I feel like there's thousands.
No idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
That's why I
been
tell
years.
people, I'm like,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, where could I eat here? I'm like, listen, just go to YouTube, type
Right.
my name in that city, it's gonna
Yeah.
pop up. I don't know how to direct you any other. Like, I
Yeah.
guess I have highlights saved, but I don't keep those up to date. It's too all over the place. I'm like,
Yeah.
I do that myself when I'm
Right.
looking for something. I'll literally go to YouTube and search my own video to remember
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when because you've made so much content and like visited so many places, when you're in New York, are you ever like, I always think about this with like restaurant like creators. Do you feel like you're running out of places, or are you like there's so many still that you haven't been
unlimited New
to?
York.
You can't run out in New York. I mean, unfortunately, it's part of the business. I mean, half them close before you even get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, never run out. I mean, I just think it's more of a. I personally am not so when every single person is super excited about something, when it's like the hottest restaurant, I don't want to go there anymore.
Yeah.
I was
of
just gonna
course.
ask
And
like
I think
when
that
a new
hurts
place.
my content a
Carb
little
out.
bit because
Yeah.
like the game is go to what's hot
Right.
and viral.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm like, one, I always want to try and make a different video than everyone else. I'll wait a year. I also think if you go to a restaurant in its first 2 weeks, you're going to a restaurant that won't be as good as it will be.
Right.
So
That's true.
What is the rush other than likes? And
Yeah.
it's just like, I
Right.
know it's a game, but it's like constant battle of like, I'm on TikTok. I don't care about this anymore because I've seen every idiot
Right.
go there.
Yeah.
Are you getting recognized in some of these places like Keith Lee or something? You know, the guy on TikTok.
Yeah,
where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, out on the street, I get recognized.
You do.
But I think at the restaurants too, it's like, yeah, one, like, that's what good restaurants do.
Right.
They kind of know who's coming
Yeah.
in. So I don't go in incognito. I mean, half my shoots are like me being in the kitchen, me setting up anyway. So
Right.
clearly they know I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there when they're not open. I
Right.
set up the whole thing. Even when I go for dinner, it's like, I would say I don't review places.
Right.
I highlight.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be critical. So I don't think it's like, oh my God, you got this comped. How could you say it? I'm like, I still know what good food is. I'm like, I'm very selective about where I go.
Yeah.
All the time people are like, what if you went? It sucked. Keith Lee's a great example.
Yeah.
He goes to LA. He makes a video. Goes, LA food sucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And my response to that was like, that actually tells me you suck.
Yeah.
Because
How could you
LA
not
restaurant
find-
scene is amazing.
Right.
You didn't do a good job.
Yeah.
Right.
You chose restaurants that were shitty.
Yeah.
Like why you would ever admit going to LA and thinking the food is terrible, like that's just a sign you don't know what you're doing. So but yeah,
Or
go
Bushwick.
if I make a reservation under Resi, they know my name is there. They know who I am. They see an idiot at the table filming himself
Right.
in Flash.
Yeah.
They know something's up, so they'll
Yeah.
piece it together at some point. And like, yeah, even the times I'm like, I honestly don't really I don't do a lot of comp meals because I don't want all the food.
Yeah.
I kind of rather just go there and enjoy it myself as much as I
Right.
want. But yeah, you go there, they know you. Okay, at the end of the night, oh, it's free. Oops.
Right.
Or like, oh, they sent a couple dishes. Like it's always
Yeah.
very, very nice, but it's not my intention. It's not just like people think it's like the shady thing of like, oh my God, they gave him free food, so he made this like amazing video for them. It's
No.
like it's not really a barter. Yes, like
Yeah.
I get invited to restaurants all the time, and like yes, it's an understanding, it's a comp, but like if I went there and I thought it sucked, I would just email the PR person like, I'm sorry, I can't do this.
Right.
I don't need free food. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like I
right.
can afford free food and I get enough of it. I just want to make good content about
Yeah.
restaurants that I really, really like.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to dig in a little bit more about when you actually are at these places. So Okay, one, I have to ask, like, when you're filming, if the restaurant isn't closed, are you just used to doing it now and like it's not a big deal to like film in front of other people with lights and stuff, or are you like, oh god?
So like what I try and do is like if the reason why I want to go to a restaurant when they're not open or like very very quiet, I'll go during the day.
Yeah.
And also like it depends on what type of restaurant it is. Like I love filming on cameras and having all the equipment and doing all that. I would prefer to do that. Just the part of it I like. I always say like love making content more than I love food.
Oh,
like, it's been part of my success. Like, I love food, obviously.
Yeah,
but, like,
of course.
It's the content creation that I love, and like I love cameras and I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm at dinner, it's so weird. I don't want to ruin anyone else's dinner experience.
Yeah.
So like I'll try and like get a seat that I'm not in the way of people. I'll try and always sit against the wall. So if I have a flash on me, it's only on me and not really bothering anyone else. As much as the background look better this way, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I'm conscious of it, but I think it depends on the type of place. Like even a really nice place, like I went to Marie the other night, a few weeks ago, whatever. So it's like the Michelin star Korean hand roll place. I'm like, yeah, maybe the place is like expensive and like that. You don't want to be filming, but like they invited me in, so I'm like, all right, they wanted me here. If anyone else has a problem with it, they could talk to an owner and manager.
Right.
Like, beyond excited that I'm there making a video,
Yeah.
I still want to be respectful to everyone. They paid a lot of money to be there, but like the restaurant's cool with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Part
Totally.
of the business too now, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's your like full rig setup look like? Are you going in with like a DSLR? Are you doing phone stuff?
So so if I go in for a shoot during the day, whether that's set up or me just rolling in, I have giant camera on a tripod.
Oh wow.
What are you using?
I have a Canon R5C.
Yeah. It's a big boy. Yeah.
Yeah, like a shoot log. I want to color it. Like I love the process. I have my wireless mics, lights. I'll have one on board in the kitchen, out front because like the umber lights are like kind of terrible on me. I won't if it's really gonna be dark in there. Like I'll bring the huge lighting setup up. I don't want to carry that shit around all day, but I have all the gear.
Yeah.
Right.
For dinner though, it's just my phone.
Yeah.
Literally nothing. I just use a flash on my iPhone too.
Yeah.
People honestly like those videos more.
Yeah.
They would get more likes. I just enjoy the process. So I make the video. I find it's more valuable. It makes me stand out more. But, and at the end of the day, I want these brands to work with me so they know when I'm working with brands, I'm like, I'm giving you professional video and
totally.
It's part of what I've built. So.
Yeah.
So,
I get that. I'll do like a cooking video online with like a Sony like A7 III or whatever, then some kid does like an iPhone or something and 20 million more views than me. What the hell?
Exactly. Yes. That part of it is frustrating. But I love the process of it.
I get
Right.
it. Yeah. What's the percentage of like you eating at home versus you eating out?
I order in more than anything, honestly,
Yeah.
which I've
Really?
been trying to reduce because I'm an ordering in addict.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I would order in every meal if I really could afford it and my body could afford it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm just lazy as shit.
Yeah. I get it.
Or like I woke up this morning, like I was like, oh damn, I forgot to get coffee, and I drink like the same cold brew concentrate every day. I'm like, guess I'm ordering breakfast because I need coffee anyway.
That's funny. Wait, I gotta ask, what are your favorite places to order from?
I was gonna say,
So I'm
You're
in Williamsburg, so I kind of
Yeah.
have like the rotation. I also, as someone that like loves exploring and eating all these restaurants, I kind of eat almost the same things every single day.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense because you're like
Yeah,
your
like the
job is to
consistency
eat.
and where I can
Yeah.
find consistency. I have the same schedule every single day. I try to, timing-wise, wake up at the same time every single day.
Yeah.
Whatever. 12 Chairs is great.
Yep.
Edith's Sandwich Counter
Oh, I want to
is
go there.
my favorite thing in the whole world. I save it for my, like, don't want to get off I call it, like, my couch meals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like a Sunday. I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
Order that in. Feel great. Birds of a Feather is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Went there
those are like
recently.
in the rotation. Roca Mediterranean is in the rotation. I kind of go through spurts of like ordering the same thing all
Right.
the time, and then like 3 months without it, and then go back to it.
What do you think is the best food neighborhood in New York?
Oh, Williamsburg.
Williamsburg.
Yeah, just 'cause you're there.
I mean, I'm biased.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you look at what's
Williamsburg is
opened in
great.
the past even just year,
Yeah.
it's insane
Yeah.
what is open.
Well,
in
there's a lot of
Williamsburg.
demand there, so
Yeah,
it
and like
makes sense.
everything's like open. Every store first came in open the location. Now it's like, oh, if we're like a thing in New York City, we have to open in Williamsburg. 7th Street Burger just opened.
Yeah,
I
saw that.
know. Oh my god, I haven't
Yeah.
been there yet.
All
I'm
these,
so
it's
excited.
like all these things like, oh, we need like a place in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Bring it. Give me more stuff.
It's
Perfect.
Right.
amazing how fast it's changed. You must know. Have you been in Williamsburg most of the time you've been in New York? Like,
So I've lived there now for 7 years, but like, sorry, so
even 7 years ago.
even 7 years ago, but even
Yeah.
like when I was in TV, we'd shoot in the studios. So now this is 15 years ago. There was only one thing in Williamsburg,
Yeah.
Oslo Coffee, and they opened
Yep.
at 11 a.m. And
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, that was it. As soon as that like Apple Store came in, the Madewell and the whole food, it was like all
We have
one
a
after the
Trader
next.
Joe's now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's wild. So then, as far as like the content goes, I have so many thoughts about some of the different creators, especially
I have
on
lots of
TikTok.
thoughts.
Yeah. And also, you can tell me if we can like edit out the name, or we could just edit this whole part out. But like, what do you think about accounts like the VIP list?
I love them.
You do?
Those are my girls.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Here's what I like about them. One, I think people that really get mad about them don't understand that it's satire.
Yeah,
Of course.
Sort of a
Like
joke, yeah.
they are
Yeah.
playing characters, and it's
Yeah.
just if you're younger, there's a weird dynamic of what's reality, what's internet, what's anything. So
Yeah.
yes, they go in. Listen, I'm a big wrestling fan,
Yeah.
so I watch them.
It's
I'm
kind
like,
of like that, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah.
It's like they're living this,
Right.
breathing this character. When you're with
Totally.
them in real life, they're not.
Of
They are
course.
like that. They're not really like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also what I appreciate about them is that they're not punching down.
Yeah.
Right.
I think if they
So it's
went to little
positive.
mom and pop's places and were like, this fucking sucks, I'd
Right.
be like, you know what? It's not really what you should be doing. They're
Right.
going to these ginormous, expensive, grand restaurants.
Right.
They're always punching up.
Right.
Which I think is totally fine.
Right.
Yeah, valid for sure.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite creators out there? Do you follow like a handful of people, or are you just
I follow everyone when I meet them, honestly. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of I don't remember the names now, but like a lot of the ones that I like actually like follow and enjoy more are way smaller.
Yeah.
More like even call it a micro is like
Yeah.
giving them a lot. Because I do find that like because they're not getting invited places, they probably work harder to find
Right.
stuff. I'm finding more like gems through them, and they're like not. It hasn't become about them. For having an account that's all about me,
Right.
so I enjoy their account where it's like, no, they have real jobs, and they're just so genuine about
Right.
these couple places that they went to. They're not digging for content,
Right.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I appreciate their take. Cause I find like, wow, like you're going to great places.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Totally.
do you like doing like the long form stuff or the short form stuff a little bit
I
more?
would love to just make long form videos.
Really?
Like short form's too hard. I hate it.
Yeah, you can't really get
I'm
much in,
long
yeah.
spoken anyway. It's
Yeah.
hard for me to like cut down myself. I'm not going to scream and, yell at the camera every last thing. So I have to cut it down. That's part of the job. Like my TikTok videos, like I said, are 3.5, 4 minutes
You can do
long.
Right.
a while on TikTok now, yeah.
Yeah. So like I'll do them, and like those videos perform better anyway. So
Yeah. What percentage are you doing like brand content versus just like your own like?
I would say like
whatever?
I probably end up doing, like I said, I do 4 to 5 videos a week.
Yeah.
And I think 3 to 4 a month are sponsored.
Yeah.
It's really
Okay.
not. I mean, that's what people
Yeah.
don't understand too. Is like, I'm killing myself, working hard, creating content that I'm not going to pay
Right.
for.
Right.
So
Yeah.
people give me shit about stuff. I'm like, do you do your job for free?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I'll do an ad, like the most viral video I made this year was a top list of cheesesteaks in Philly.
Yeah.
Saw
And
that one.
I kind of and I nailed it because half the people were like, "Wow, can't believe an out of towner did a video like this."
Yeah.
The other half were like, "Don't ever come to Philly again." And I, like,
Of course,
nailed it.
Philly.
But so there's a sponsored integration in it. It
Yeah.
was
Oh,
with
okay.
Mazda, and Mazda came to me and they're like, "Hey, we want to do a food video with you, like whatever." They're like, "Yeah, like you driving around New York City getting your favorite food." And I said to them, I was like, "No." I was like, "Why would I be driving around New York
Right.
City? Like,
Yeah.
that's really stupid." I was like, "You guys are giving me a healthy budget. I'd rather take that money you're giving me and like make a cool video out of it. Like, I'll drive to Philly. That's an excuse to have a car.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Drive to Philly, eat a bunch of cheesesteaks, do the
Yeah.
video." So the video is a minute 30 long, a minute 30 on reels. But there's like intro, little bit, boom, sponsor content. The sponsor content is maybe like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And people give me shit about it. I'm like, it's like,
how do you think I
I
make
gave
this
you a
money?
minute
Yeah.
and 20 seconds
Right.
of
Yeah.
content.
Right.
With 10-second ad integration.
Right.
About a car that got me there. I
Right.
made it all work.
Yeah.
And it's same idea of like, you don't do your job for free.
Right.
I
Yeah.
do my job for free every
Yeah.
single day. So
Yeah.
do not give me
Right.
shit about. Oh, you're like weird about commercials now. Where have you been? There's
Yeah.
been commercials
Yeah.
now. It's been 17 years since we've introduced commercials
Yeah.
into content.
Right.
Right.
And I try very hard to not. I say that. I try very hard not to make a commercial.
Yeah.
I will not make a commercial for your product.
Yeah.
I'm not making a 1-minute video about your car.
Yeah.
Right.
I love cars. I can
Yeah.
talk about that. My audience won't care.
Yeah.
I want to integrate what you do into my content.
I mean, that's the proper way
my
to do
That's
job.
the difference.
Yeah.
Is because you
Yeah.
would make that video anyway. Like that's your content
Right.
anyway.
Yes.
Whereas
Yeah.
like other creators will make a random video for the ad that
Never
like
makes
is totally out of
sense. Yeah.
place.
And-
Yeah.
And I hate that. I'm like, yeah, it's like, and like people don't understand, like, the amount of fights I get into your brands about
Right.
this
Yeah.
to make sure that you guys are happy. I
Yeah.
can easily take their money and
Right.
do whatever I want and be like, who fucking cares? This one video.
Yep.
But I don't do that
Yeah.
because I try and have integrity with what
Yeah.
I do. And I
Yeah.
work so hard about what my audience is to think. And then like the shit, it's like, if
Yeah.
you only knew
Yeah.
what I had to do to even get to this,
Yeah.
the amount of money I don't take because
Right.
a brand isn't going to be happy with that.
Right.
Yeah.
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 I mean, do you think in some sense that negative, like those comments hating on ads helps drive the views to the video
Well,
All
anyway?
comments are good.
More
I don't
engagement.
All
Yeah.
engagement's good. I don't
Yeah.
really care. I purposely make videos that like are made to make engagement. The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Philly video is a great example. I went on there as an out-of-towner.
Right. To
And
Philly.
said,
Like,
oh,
the
they're
here
gonna
are the
hate
top
this.
6 cheesesteaks you should be eating. It is made to elicit a reaction from people.
Right.
And people are always like, oh, you say this is best, you say that's best. I'm like, well, you can't just say, here's something I ate, so no one's going to care.
Right. Yeah.
And I also say, I always qualify it in a way. People don't focus on it. I'll say, like, I'll go to a new sushi place opens. I'll do the video, the top of the video. Here's the best new sushi spot in New York City.
Yeah.
How many other sushi spots opens? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So just looking at like
Yeah.
what just opened, what's your qualification of something new? It's like I didn't say this is the greatest sushi I've ever had. I didn't say
Right.
the greatest sushi in New York City. I said the best
New.
new in
Yeah.
here. Like there's qualifiers in everything that I say. So
It definitely
people-
helps elicit a little
Yeah.
response. I mean,
Yes.
that's what you gotta do. That's
like,
part of the game.
You just want engagement. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. I don't want. I mean, that's not nice for everyone to be yelling at me every second.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Give me the engagement.
Do you ever see some comments that really just piss you off? Like, do you ever respond to people who have negative comments?
Yeah,
like,
I
it
respond
just-
to everyone. Just part of my problem. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what really gets me fired up is more the people that like try and discredit what I do as for a living.
Sure.
And I'm just like, that's what gets me, because that's honestly what I care about more than anything. It's like that. This is what I do. I kill myself for this job.
Yeah.
I work every single day, every single second. I'm doing something for this.
Yeah.
So for you to try and take that away from me, like, really upsets me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, what do you do? What do you do that's so important that, oh, you're so stupid influencer? It's like, I am creating entertainment, a
Right.
job that has existed
Yeah.
for
I was
thousands of
gonna
years.
say it's no
this isn't
different
new.
Yeah,
than
it's
the
a new
Food
TV.
Network or
Yeah.
something.
It's no
Yeah.
different than plays and operas.
Right.
I mean, it's a little bit different. I'm entertaining people.
Yeah,
this
of
is
course.
a thing that exists.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you think because it's on your phone, it's any less
Right.
valuable than anything else. It's like, actually kind of more valuable because my audience is a better demo
Yeah.
and higher than all
Yep.
these fucking cable
Yeah,
channels now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you qualify
It's
it, but I'm
showbiz,
doing
baby.
the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
There
Yeah.
was just a one of my coworkers, Paul, did a video about this actually. How I think like 2 days ago it came out that Guy Fieri was making like $100 million
Signed a
this
$100
year.
million contract.
Yes,
That's right.
But
Killing
it
it.
was something about how he gets like 800,000 views for like a season of his show. Meanwhile, like one TikTok could get 2 million views.
Yes.
It just one, and it's like
Yeah, I mean, his advantage of Food Network is that there's only really like 3 talent there that their
Yeah.
audience wants because their audience is older. So they're like, unless it's Guy, Bobby, or
yeah.
I don't even know who's left.
Right.
No, I
That's
get it.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like the amount of people watching
Oh, yeah,
on
of
social
course.
media is way higher.
And the
So it's
demo's
like,
totally different. Like,
Right.
yeah, they're not sitting there watching every. Listen, there's math you could do to it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that. Even when I stopped working in TV, because I was at that point, I hadn't made a show for Food Network in maybe a year. I was doing shows like FYI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think it exists anymore. It barely existed when I
Yeah.
was doing shows. So like, people on TV thought I was crazy for like not taking gigs with them. They're like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
And like immediately, it's like, well, like I get better ratings than the shows we worked on,
I
right?
know.
Right.
And I do
Exactly.
it for 0 budget.
know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, maybe I'm onto something here.
Totally.
Yeah, I think there's a harsh reality for a lot of TV people out there that it's just like
Right.
not the way. I remember like I worked at Vice a long time ago, and when they did the deal to have a TV show, like a TV channel, I
Yeah.
was like, this is the opposite direction. You know what I
Right.
mean? And now they're bankrupt, obviously, but
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way when people approach me about TV shows to host.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't just dismiss any idea. I'm always like, let me hear
what if you're
anything out.
hosting then? You know,
Yeah.
It
get the
isn't
money,
it, but
yeah.
here's my thing too. It's like, if you hosting money is okay, but it's a very short window.
Mm-hmm.
So for that short window, it's good money. If I'm not making $100 million a guy,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm making the first time hosting a TV show.
Right.
But I always think like, what's going to build my brand? And while it's really cool, it would be amazing to be like on my resume, like hosted a Food Network show. It's super
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, no one watching Food Network is going to go to my Instagram stuff or my social media stuff because
Yeah.
they're just too old, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm not building my brand anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not gaining a new audience. I'm not
Right.
finding anyone new. I'm actively taking away, because TV shows are way more work than internet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actively taking away time that I could be building my actual stuff
Mm-hmm.
to do this. Like, you really have to weigh, like, I have conversational time. I always think, like, listen, it comes down to creative. Am I actually interested in the show? Because I want to be interested in it.
Yeah.
Money and time.
Yeah.
And like all those 3 things have to hit for me to like want to step away from stuff that I do every day. Like I said earlier, like, I started to produce films.
Yeah.
Produced 1 short film myself, like actually on the ground producing.
Yeah.
Everything else is basically executive producing. But like, yeah, it took basically a month away from my real
Right.
work to make
Yeah.
this film, but it's a passion project.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm okay losing a little bit of social media stuff to do something I'm really
Right.
excited about, like a cool new opportunity.
You've got control too.
Right.
Were
Yeah,
those
and
things
that's
like
it.
food related things, or were they just
It
like
sort
totally?
of ended up being food related. It's really funny. So my friend wrote it. It's a romantic comedy. I didn't
Oh,
want to do
nice.
anything food related necessarily, just
Yeah.
because I'm like, that is my world. I want to
Right.
do a little bit something else. But kind of all made sense. It's called The Sandwich Line. It's about like
Cool.
a magical sandwich line where she meets men.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out. There's food related, and because like all of her locations were like grocery stores, restaurants, like I was
Right.
able to use my background to an advantage as a producer.
Sure.
It kind of all makes sense in the end, especially
Yeah.
the first one that I'm putting out that I actually produced. It's like this story makes it
Right.
all made sense, but I'm not actively looking to make like
Right.
food projects
Right.
necessarily.
Oh, okay. So like, you've been doing this for a long time, right? Like, do you feel like there's moments of plateau and growth? Like, is it sort of, or have you just been steadily like going up this whole time with followers? And
It's always going up. I mean, especially on the other platforms. Instagram's hard because it's just Instagram is hard.
Yeah.
I also, let's say I'm outspoken about things.
Yeah.
When I'm outspoken, I will lose thousands of followers.
oh, really? Like what? Just like
Thousands.
political stuff? Like,
Yeah,
or-
political stuff basically. Which I'm cool with. I don't fucking care. But
Yeah.
like that does like stagnate you at some point. If you just
Sure.
look at the numbers, you're like, what
Yeah.
is happening here?
Yeah.
But like all the other platforms taking off has been tremendously helpful. TikTok popping off has been tremendously helpful.
Yeah.
To have a total and like have a totally new audience, younger audience, a different place to pitch ads. Brands normally don't want to do both, so it's either they only want
Right.
TikTok or they want Instagram or whatever. So it created a whole new revenue stream for me basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the goal is always YouTube just because I love it. And
Yeah.
even in my small font on YouTube, like make a decent amount of money. So to like really have that pop off would be amazing. And Facebook and on all of them,
Right.
Snap, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these other places, every place I could put content and grow is
I
really
can't believe
helpful.
you're doing like 4 videos a week, editing all of them,
I
and
know, it's
posting
a
them on
lot.
like 8 platforms.
Uh-huh.
What the hell?
How do you? Oh wait. Okay. I wanted to ask. How did you start with saying, "Let me tell you why"?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So that was all by accident. I wasn't sitting there like, oh, I need a catchphrase to put in every
Right.
video. Just the way I speak.
Yeah.
So I would just organically, I didn't do that exactly, but I essentially was doing that in a lot of videos without thinking about it.
Right.
And then I didn't do it in one video, and people were commenting on TikTok. They were like, "You didn't say the thing." It's like I didn't say
Do
what.
the thing.
Yeah, they're basically do the thing, clown.
Dance monkey.
And I look back, I was like, "Oh my god, I've been saying this in every video."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Well, I got my thing now, great." And
Yeah.
it's just like, to me, people scroll really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So you, and
gotta get 'em right
the
away.
secret to TikTok is rinse and repeat the same video over and over again.
Yeah.
And I can't do that because I'm always in different places. I'm always whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, one key was like trying to be as consistent as possible. So I'm like, okay, if I could start every video with the same beats.
Yeah, totally.
So at least within the first 4 seconds, even if you see my face, whatever, like you're getting all these things
Right.
so you know it's my video.
yeah.
And they try and introduce that. So yes, it's
Yeah.
become part of the thing. It's
Smart.
in every single video. It's branded me. People now say that to me on the streets.
Yeah.
It's fine. I
It's
should
like
probably
Isaac
make
likes
merch.
or
I don't
whatever.
know.
Yeah.
Isaac
What is
likes
it like
that.
when people like come up to you on the street? Like, are you like, does it happen often and you're like caught off guard? Or are you like,
Yeah, I mean, you're always caught off guard 'cause you never expect someone
Yeah,
to come up to
true.
you on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I'm just walking around, people come up to you a lot. Like, I think in New York, people like don't care as much. So
Yeah.
like, you'll get like a DM later, be like, "Oh, were you here?"
Yeah.
A lot more like when people are drunk.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh shit, it's that guy from TikTok."
right, right.
And what's funny too is like my audience on Instagram is more female. My audience at TikTok is more male. So
Interesting.
every single time, if it's a like woman coming up to me, she's like, "I love your Instagram."
Yeah.
If it's a dude, it's like, "Bro, I love your TikTok." And I'm like, I knew you came from TikTok. It's really funny how
Yeah.
it works. Yeah.
That is
That's so,
funny.
that's so interesting that it skews differently on the different platforms.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, like men use internet differently, so it always made more sense as more female. Like females are gonna like comment like tagging all their friends, like, "Oh my god, we have to go here." Like no man would do that.
Yeah.
So it just
Yeah.
organically grows differently. But for whatever reason, my videos hit younger and more men on TikTok.
Yeah.
Right.
What kind of brand deals wouldn't you do? I mean, I imagine you get a lot of offers. Like, are you turning them down quite a bit, or are you?
Yeah, I mean, I think like what I always go through is like, one, what do I have to say about this?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if I have nothing to say about this, it's like I don't.
Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Two, like, is my audience going to care at all?
Yeah.
Right.
Because maybe they don't care, and then
Yeah.
like it's just not going to work.
Right.
And then 3, money. Obviously,
Yeah.
kind of have to pay me what I'm worth.
Right.
So when those 3 things align, yeah, there's lots of things, lots of weird things. I don't know, like someone wanted me to do a grow your hair, one of those things. And I'm like, I have
a
so
Hims
much
thing?
hair. It's like, I don't know if I'm like the right messenger for that. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
So funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, man.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Stupid reason.
I got fired from one brand.
Really?
And
Can you say
years
it?
of doing this.
Or is it
yeah, I
like-
guess now it doesn't fucking
Yeah.
matter. So I signed a deal with Bywater.
With what's it called?
Bywater?
Okay.
Bywater.
BAI. It's like the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They used, I feel like they hand it out for free in a lot of places.
Yes,
like-
so this is part of the thing. So
Yeah.
they had a contract with like every music festival in the country or something.
Right.
So it was like a gigantic partnership of like, we're going to send you to every festival, just go there drink the water, take a photo, be done. All right. So now I'm a little more like, because phones have gotten better, I'm a little more chill about like, I'll get content on a phone if I really need to. But at the time, this is years ago, I was like, everything has to be on my camera. Everything has to be my photos.
Yeah.
And I know from working at festivals a lot that like they're very weird about cameras. So the first I was sent to Lollapalooza in Chicago, which is like, Jesus Christ, Chicago in August is not a place to be.
Yeah.
120 degrees and humid.
Yeah.
So we go there, and for weeks I'm like, you guys going to get my camera approved? They basically didn't do it. And I was like, well, I kind of need to get my camera and to get my content. Yeah. And it was this days-long thing of like, oh, we have a photographer. Oh, the photographer's gone. Oh, we have this. It finally got to, I found the photographer. And I know, and I kind of had a good sense because I'm on top of this stuff. I said to the photographer, I'm like, hey, listen, did anyone talk to you about taking a photo of influencers and then like delivering those photos? I didn't want to run up to him and be like, you have to take a photo of me.
Right.
Yeah. And he's basically like, no, I work for the festival. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So at this point, I've been in Chicago for 4 days. I am a sweaty mess. I haven't gotten one piece of content. Yeah. And I call my manager, and if I call my manager, she knows I'm heated. Yeah. And I was basically, I can't do this anymore. I can't get my content. I've tried every single day. So we called the brand, and the brand was like, it's part of this giant partnership. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll make up the post, whatever. And I was like, could I just leave then? I want to come home. So I come home. And basically get an email Tuesday being like, you didn't fulfill your contract, you're fired.
Oh my God. That's
and
ridiculous.
I knew what happened was the person that okayed it probably wasn't really allowed to do that. And she wasn't going to.
They dropped the ball.
Yeah. And she wasn't going to be the one to take the blame for it. And it kind of had to be me. So it's disappointing to lose a lot of money. It's disappointing that it was like a really fun thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, they fired me. And I was like, oh, well.
Not really your fault anyway.
Anyone good at Lollapalooza?
It was not my fault. I was told it was totally good, but I was just like, I told our manager, like, listen, they're not going to come back to us. It's fine. Just let that girl know that, like, the person that was working on the account is going to work on a million other things. She's going to bounce around. Sure. Make sure we're cool with her. The brand is never going to kick with me. That's fine.
Yeah. Man, I know we've been going for a while, so I don't want to keep you too long, but I do have like a list, and tell me, because I know you were just like, oh, it's hard to get recommendations, but I have a like list of like favorite things, and I wonder if I could just like name them off, and you could tell us what your favorite place is.
Oh God, okay. I might have to go on my own Google Drive, but I'll try and do it without looking at my phone.
These are just quick answers. They don't have to be like.
Yeah. Also, if you can't think of anything, we can. Okay. Let's see. And also, well, should we do just New York or like anything, like anywhere?
I mean, you could try other places. I don't know.
Yeah.
New York is probably easier, but give me it all. It's fine.
It could be anywhere. Yeah. Okay. So favorite burger.
I'm a classic burger guy. I want American cheese and pickles, so I still think Peter Luger's is the best.
Interesting.
Wow, They still do that like lunch burger.
There.
It's only lunch only.
Yeah.
It's like $38, but the meat's so good. It's just like it's onion just cooked because the meat's hot. So it's like basically a raw onion, which I love. Yeah. Big old patty, dry aged meat, so good. American cheese. And like super soft bun, like that's it.
Classic.
We've been saying how
I would say like thick burgers, smash burgers have had their moment. I think it's moving
I go back and forth. I love a smash burger. I love 7th Street. Nawan is fantastic.
Yeah, they just opened one in Bushwick.
I know I have to go because pizza's also.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah. Those are like, but like if I think burger, I want to think even like JG Mellon, like classic,
right?
And like all the crazy ones.
The big boys. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, interesting. Okay, favorite sushi.
Sushi's hard. You know what's funny? It's like sushi is my favorite food. If I could eat sushi every single day, I would. Yeah. If I could afford it.
That makes sense though. Then when you liked it.
Exactly. But so like when I'm in New York, like I haven't even done in New York like the really crazy omakase because like can't afford it. So when I travel, it's like I'm traveling to it. So like Sushi by M is great.
Okay.
So omakase, they have 2 locations in East Village. It's maybe like $125 or something.
Not
but
bad
like the quality that you get honestly is so much better than places that are way more expensive.
Right.
Like, way more interesting pieces too.
Yeah.
And like it's fun, it's super casual, it's great.
Right. Okay, that's a good piece of advice. Favorite diner, and I wrote this down because of your brunch experience.
Yeah.
Favorite diner. I mean, there's like no diners left.
I know.
My favorite diner is the El Dorado diner that used to exist in Tarrytown, New York.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
I know.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Now it's a Honda dealership.
Classic New York, dude.
Okay, favorite fried chicken.
What have I just had recently? I'm much more like a fried chicken sandwich kind of dude. Yeah. You know, it's really good since we're going to go right everywhere. Oh my God, is it La Chemilier? It's Korean fried chicken in LA. It's
Ooh.
great. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love
like
Korean
they
fried
started at Smorgasburg out there, now have a full like brick and mortar. It's a huge piece of like dark meat chicken.
Yum. Okay, favorite tacos or like Mexican food?
New York is tough.
There's a lot around here.
Taqueria Ramirez, I guess, for tacos.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
good. Yeah. Okay, favorite Jewish deli or like?
Oh, well, this one's the hardest question.
Yeah.
So I have a little series that I'm doing on this specific question.
Yeah.
I think it's a very heated argument. And the conclusion we've come to so far is that I do think if we're talking straight up pastrami sandwiches, there's nothing better than Katz's.
Yeah.
Agreed.
People that want to
good.
hate on Katz's, it's like the people who hate on Peter Luger. It's like they
Right.
hate on because it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry. How do you go there and eat that sandwich and not think it's the greatest thing that's
It's
ever hit your
so
lips?
good.
Katz
I know.
is so accurately rated. Like it's not overrated.
Yeah.
It really
It's
is that
not.
good.
It's underrated at this point because everyone
Yeah.
complains about it. But I will say,
Right.
it is, I don't like being there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Kinda
mean?
chaotic,
I don't want
yeah.
to sit there. It is insane there. So I do think like if you, and to me, it's like, it's not really a diner. It sort of like has to be in that category because what it's like diner, deli, whatever.
Right.
But like when I go to Second Avenue Deli, I'm like, it feels like my aunts and uncles are working.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I really like. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, this is where like if you want a real Jewish experience,
Yeah.
That's the
you
one.
go there.
Totally. Not necessarily like a Jewish deli sandwich, but just like favorite deli sandwich or like Italian sandwich.
If we're gonna go that, maybe FICO's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
just favorite like Italian restaurant.
Emilio's Bellato.
Okay. I haven't
Yeah.
been there, but
I've been there.
want to
I'd
go.
love to
It's
go.
the only like old
That was a
school
fast
red
answer,
sauce because
too.
it's the only
Yeah.
old school red sauce place I would ever recommend.
Last one's kind of random, but favorite dive bar or just bar in general.
It sort of works. I mean, it's sort of like I think anything in Williamsburg is going to be like, it's called a dive bar. It's like, well, it's still in Williamsburg.
Yeah.
But I love starting my nights at Horses and Divorces.
Yeah, I love horses and divorces. So
spot,
fun. Yeah. Classic.
Get a giant beer there
Yeah.
too. The big
And like the
Campo
bowling
cups.
alley cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only, this is so stupid. It's the only place I've ever almost gotten into a bar fight in.
Oh, there you go.
What for?
So they have
Bull
the
sharking?
they have the pool table in the
Yeah.
back, and people take it very seriously.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at the corner of the back bar there. It's like and I'm looking out towards the bar, so I'm sort of facing the pool table. So the guy's gonna take a shot, and like I'm like basically where he's gonna take a shot. So he comes over. I'm like, oh, I'll get her away. So I sort of dive this way, so he has a shot, whatever. He was fine. His buddy comes up to me. He's like, what the fuck was that? I go, what? He's like, oh, you're too good to stand up for my boy's shot. I was like,
What?
I was like, what is happening? Like in my face.
Just confused.
And I was like, you're at Horses and Divorces. I was like, what? And so his buddy came over and thinking, listen, like, if I actually ruined your shot, like, I apologize. He's like, no, you were fine. I was like, well, tell your boy to relax.
Oh my God. Aggro.
At Horses and Divorces.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh my God.
That's insane.
Williamsburg bros, man.
So what's your drink order? It doesn't have to be there anywhere.
I only drink tequila on the rocks.
Really?
I love beer, so like starting out with
Yeah.
beer. If it's a cocktail bar, sure, then we try a cocktail. But like, just give me what I want.
Yeah.
I'm a
Love that.
a Budweiser and a shot of tequila all night.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, good to know. And then is there anything else? I mean, just like as we wrap up, is there anything like else you want to talk about or
Want to plug the movies?
Well,
Want to
yeah,
plug the
pl-
show?
yeah,
Yeah,
What can we look
the
forward to?
movies will come out at some point. This is why I wanted to do film where like everything I do is so fast, which is cool. I get to have an idea. I could go shoot it, edit, and put it on the internet the next day, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
The film process is very long. Like potentially it's gonna be 2 years before anyone can see it.
Yeah.
short.
Got it. Yeah.
Which is cool, but I sort of like the idea of like, okay, cool, like we're gonna make something that maybe lives on. Also, the other side is like internet stuff goes away really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to make stuff that could kind of live on and people could rewatch and find is like
That's
really
cool.
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Jeremy Jacobowitz. Jeez,
Yeah.
follow Jeremy Jacobowitz on everywhere. It sounds like
Anywhere you want, anywhere
Lemon.
you want to view content, I will be there.
plugging lemon on this podcast.
Yeah, lemonade. Find
Yeah,
out
Lemonade. God, yeah, that's
Man,
right. Yeah.
thanks for hanging out. Appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah,
And
thanks for
cheers.
coming.
Yeah.
Cheers, but I got the water.
You can't cheers water.
That's
That's not
illegal.
good. Yeah.